Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go through as many supplies as I possibly can that could benefit you as an artist. It will go into a personal look as to whether or not I believe that these supplies can be used for a professional basis in order to increase your production speed or just give you some really cool stuff that you can use in the future as an artist that will either help you or just make what you do a lot more fun. And I hope that you guys checked out my last video where I went over something a little less professional and tried it out. I'll put a link in the card so you can check that out. And yeah, so we're gonna go on, and I'm really excited about the markers that we have this time, because it is something that I've been looking for quite some time. So with the markers and how they've been moving, you know, you've got the brush tip, the chisel tip, and the bullet tip. And I do a lot of little itty bitty detail work that doesn't have a lot of extra lines, that hides the fact that there are little itty bitty details and stuff like that. So when it comes to markers, I can't get into these little itty bitty spaces without it trying to bleed out. And I always needed something that had more of a bullet tip and then a fine point tip, so that I could actually have the same color and get into some of the smaller spaces. And for the longest time I didn't find anything, and I was actually going to produce some of my own. I started working on the design, I started talking to manufacturers, and as I kept going I have found two, and this is one of them. And I'm super excited to try these, and I hope that you will get as much enjoyment out of these as I hope I will, because as normal, I haven't tried these before, so I'm not necessarily giving you a review of something that I've already tried. These are things that I bought, picked up, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be really cool, because I want you guys to have my honest opinion as we move forward. And if at any time there is a point where I'm like, nope, this is really cool, I've used it, it's awesome, I will tell you that it is already a tainted review because I've already used it, okay? But with that said, this is what we're getting into today, okay? These are the Staedtler dual tips. I'm really excited about getting into these. There's 36 of them. I picked it up at Michael's. By the way, Michael's is great. You can always get a coupon and get stuff like this half off. But these are going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to trying these, and let's get into it. All right, let's go ahead and crack into these. I'm really excited about checking out the colors here. There's 36 of them, so there should be a lot to choose from, and yeah, I'm really excited. Let's get into these. All right, first thing, a lot of tape holding together. All right, look at that. All right. Oh, still more. All right. Looks like with this many colors, we have a lot that we can blend from. Hopefully it's blendable. So, you know, we've got like this. So, this way, sorry. All right, so we can blend these together, or we actually have a pink. Right, so we have colors, with multiple colors that we should be able to blend together, which will be awesome. Let's go ahead and open it. So it's just like a fine liner, right? So it's kind of small. It's a little bit bigger than most fine liners. As far as size-wise, it's round. It's actually pretty easy on the hands. All right, so there you go. There's a fine line tip. Don't necessarily know if the nib is going to be awesome, because I see a bunch of chunks in there. Let's check out another one to see if that's the same. So I don't know if the nib is actually going to be very sturdy or how long these last. We'll find out. And then here is the, oops, here's the thicker side. Okay, it's like a bullet tip. All right, so let's go ahead and check these out. Move these out of the way. So, Alright, so there's that one, so you can see that previous demo there. Alright, so you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and start with red. Alright, so we'll do the bullet side first. Okay, comes out nice, a little light. It doesn't dry right away, so something you might want to watch out for. Try the fine liner. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, my biggest fear is that it's gonna tear up the paper as you go over it. All right, let's try this. Yeah, see, this is also kind of tearing. Nah, yep, it's also pulling up on the paper. So this is something that you can't go over too many times. You know, and of course, you know, I'm smearing it, but that's because I'm trying to see what it'll be like when it's wet. But this really does give you a nice fine point that you can get into. My biggest issue is that with it's not really an issue, but what I'm noticing is that you're gonna have to catch these like one time out. So these are definitely going to be for detailing, right? So you're not really trying to come in and do things like, oh, I'm going to come in here and go around, and then we come in and try and make this all nice and neat, right? You can, right? So, but it does pull up some of the paper. So, you know, if you're working in big spots, if you're working in big areas like this, you know, oh, I can feel it just pulling up the paper. All right, so this is another marker that is not meant for multiple coats. It's definitely something that you have to try and hit on the first time out. Right? Because even with me going around in a circle like I normally do, it adds that weird texture to it. So you've got to, this is going to be one that most people like, is the ones that I constantly tell my students not to try and do, but this is the one where you got to try and hit it on that first pass, right? So you got to try and come in and make sure you catch that one, maybe two hits in. You got to try and make sure you catch all of that color, right? You got to make sure that it's nice and clean and done, because I don't foresee that you're going to be able to go over it too often and make it work. Because even, I don't know if you can actually see that, but it's actually starting to do the beading, right? So little beads of white of the paper is coming through. And so if you are trying to actually use colors to blend out, which by the way, it does no blending. I mean, there's no bleeding in this whatsoever. It just, you know, these are not seemingly meant to be one of those ones that you can blend, and because the ink consistency is not actually bleeding out, allowing you to work other colors into it. This seems to be more of like a sketch type of marker and pen. So it's just something that you got to keep in mind, that, you know, you're going to be sketching with these more so than you are anything else. But oh my goodness, you can just see how this beads up on this paper, right? And I am definitely not the type of person who wants to have my stuff beat up. And so, you know, it's definitely something you got to be aware of. And I really do think that this is going to be great for sketch work, you know, so you can just come in and do some interesting things with, you know, with sketching, and you can start adding some details and stuff like that. I think that might work, right? You know, so you can come in here, do some nice stuff like that. So I'm thinking that we're gonna have an interesting time with the demo, with the little drawing aspect of it, because we're gonna do everything with the pen. So that should be a lot of fun. But I don't see this being meant for getting nice, clean lines, because it's literally pulling A, it's pulling up on the paper, and B, it's beading, right? And for those of you who don't know what I mean when I say it's beading, it means that it's pulling onto the pores of the paper, and so all the little pores that are inside of the paper is actually being shown through. And when you try and cover it up, right, when you try and get enough coverage on your paper from the marker, it pulls up your paper. So as said, coming in here trying to do something that it's not meant to do, which seemingly is going over stuff multiple times, like you might get 1 or 2 passes and then you have to be okay with it, because otherwise it's going to beat up and it's just not going to look as good. As they're drying though, I think the second pass looks actually pretty good, so we might have some nice work if you go over it twice, right? And you're like, all right, I'm going to let it dry like this one. So I think that that's actually pretty good. So I guess we're going to have to try that in some controlled experiments here. But right now I'm just kind of going through the different colors and seeing, you know, the lighter colors, how they work, and then how the darker color, like these darker ones, they instantly beat up, right? But we're gonna see the first pass, second pass, third pass. We're gonna do a couple markers for that. But with that said, let's see what kind of lines we can get out of this. All right, so you've got your nice thick bullet. All right, here, hold on. That's a thinner line. Right, you can get a thinner line, nice thin line. So you can get 3 lines out of that bullet, and then the fine liner. Right, the fine liner just gives you a nice, consistent, thin line. Oh, it gives you a nice little bullet too. So you have the ability to come in and even use the fine liner to get in there. So that's really nice. I really do enjoy that, right? The problem is that I just don't like the fact that I can only go over it like once or twice. That's gonna be a problem for me, at least later on. But like I said, these things look really good as far as being able to sketch with them. You know, it's got a nice light when you're just sketching. Look at those purples, right? It's just a nice sketch line. You can get some nice cool stuff in there. So I think that these are definitely going to be meant more for sketching than for trying to knock out final artwork. Right? And I think for me, the biggest issue is being able to look at them and then go, oh, wait, it's gonna dry, because it seems as though when they're drying, it dries a little bit more consistent. So that's good. So at least it'll take away from the idea that it's not, you know, it's all beady and not looking not looking good. So that's good. Let's see. Try another light color. I mean, the colors are nice. They come out very vibrant. The lights are actually lights. The darks are dark, you know, so they should work. Actually, let's try that. Got this light blue. Let's try this. All right, so we're gonna hit this. All right, we're gonna hit that, and then we're gonna come in. We're gonna hit this. Oh, nope! Look at that. Just completely, like, it's not meant to blend. Like, you can't knock out those colors at the same time, although I think that the transition might actually work really well. So let's try. We're gonna try something. Okay, so we're gonna go green, light green, and then just can't go over it that often. That green, and then we'll do a darker green. So I mean, you know, it'll be interesting to see once this dries. We'll do another one while that one's drying. We will try. How about we try this? Get some complementary colors going. Right, so we're gonna do this, that down. And we're gonna do this. Might have missed my mark there. Yep, I did. Alright, let's do that one again. Sorry about that. Grab the wrong color. Alright, so let's try it again. So we do the light color, medium color, and we do the dark color. Right, so I mean, it looks like it's got some very nice, you can have some very nice transitions going on because there's plenty of colors to work with. So it seems like you can get a very nice transition going on. So there's that, but it doesn't seem like it's actually blending, right? It seems as though the colors are just going to stop. It's like wherever you put that line, bam, that's where it's going to be. So that's why I really think that this is going to be great for some sketching. Mostly because the consistency of the ink isn't bleeding. Like, these are going to be great for journaling. This is going to be great for if you're trying to write. These seem really, really good for that. And I firmly believe that these are going to be great for sketching. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to do two because I want to try the sketch portion, and then I want to try one where I've actually drawn something out, inked it, and tried that. Okay, so let's see. So we're just gonna go ahead and start doing some scribbles, and we'll go from there, right? Alright, so we just got done doing the test and demo of the Staedtler double-ended fiber tip markers, and I have to say there were some very unexpected things that happened while I was testing these out. The colors come out pretty nice on a one-shot. Sometimes in the second, right, you can make it so that it works on the second shot, but to be honest, if you're trying to cover it, it does not work. Like, you go over and it starts layering on top. Like, the consistency of the marker, there is not any bleed that goes with it, so it doesn't blend with itself, so it makes it really hard to get a nice, clean, even coat of what you're trying to do. Also, with the fiber tip, it was destroying my paper. Take a look at this. So, as you can see here, it's literally pulling up the paper. Like, it is completely destroyed. And when I went to do a third pass on the other one, it just pulled it up. So, and you know from my last video, if it pulls up the paper, the answer is a no. That's just all there is to that. The answer is an absolute no, and there's nothing we can do about that. But I have to say though, if you're trying to do something for, let's say, journaling or writing or something of that nature, these would be fine, right? I think these would be just fine. The color consistency is nice, the colors are there, it's vibrant, there's lots of colors, so there's something to choose there. You know, so if you're trying to like write and stuff like that, bullet journaling or anything like that, this is work, right? This is really nice. But what I can see is from what it's advertising on the back, you can't blend You cannot blend like these images are telling you can. You just can't, because I'm going around in circles and it just doesn't work. And if you're trying to get this nice, layered look from, this gradient that's going on here, you can't do it because it's going to destroy your paper. And at least that's what I found on mine, like looking back at them drying. So looking back at them actually dry, it looks kind of nice, like it dries fairly nicely. So I can't even take that away from it. But these ones, right, these are the 1 and 2 passes that happen. So if you can get it nice and consistent in 1 or 2 passes, then you're great. But by doing the demo, you can't get a big surface, right? So you can't get a bigger surface. So these are definitely meant for detailing, like you're trying to hit like a one shot. So maybe working in combination with these would work. So if you have a marker that you really like that is working, and then you're like, oh man, I really need to get in here with this red, then go ahead and do that, right? You can definitely go and check that out, and then hopefully that'll work for you. But as far as trying to do them on their own, no, because trying to get a larger surface means you got to go over it more than once, and then the color just doesn't layer and it pulls up the paper. It absolutely destroys the paper. So the question at this point by itself, because I think I'm going to have to do a demo with these and another marker that I know works and see how that is, but as far as by themselves, these are not worth it because it destroys the paper. You have to go over it more than twice to try and get it nice and neat. It destroys the paper. So we'll do another one with a combination of this and a marker that I trust, and we'll see if we can get some nice details and see if that'll be worth it. But as of right now, these do not work by themselves. As far as this is not worth it, okay? It's not, because it tears up your paper. That is the number one. If it tears up my paper, it's not worth it. It doesn't matter how much it costs, even when it's free. If it tears up my paper as a marker, then it is not worth it. And that's exactly what happened here. So with that said, if you're gonna do journaling or writing or something like that, these are great. These are absolutely great because you only need one shot, one pass, possibly 2, and you'll be great. But if you're trying to do some artwork with it, even when sketching, right? Like if you're trying to do one-line sketches and you're doing life drawings and speed stuff like that, these are cool too. Gives you a nice little color. That's great. But in the end, trying to do finished work or something that has a bigger surface, this isn't it. These are not worth it. Okay, so there you go. There's my opinion. It's good for quick sketches. It's good for bullet journaling. But as far as doing some detailed work, as far as finished by itself, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. But I'm hoping to break these back out in a combination, and we'll go from there. All right. Well, I hope this video has been informative to you. I hope that you got something from it. If you have an opposing opinion, please put it in the comments so I can read it, and I'll gladly test these out again. But like I said, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope to see you at the next one. If you have not yet, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys at the next video. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to check out some of my other videos, click on the link on your right. Or, if you're interested in a more behind-the-scenes and personal look at what I do on a day-to-day basis, please click on the link that leads you to the vlog. Thank you very much, and we'll see you at the next video.